everyone, and welcome to Vive Online. My name is Trey Warren. I'm one of the student pastors here at Trinity, and we just want to welcome you tonight to the Vive Online worship experience. We got a lot of things planned for tonight. We got an incredible discussion with an incredible panel later on. But before we get to that, and there's a big announcement at the end that you do not want to miss. So do not log off early. Stay on. It will be worth it, I promise you. But before we get to any of that, we're going to start off the only way we know how, with a game. So can we give a big round of applause for our contestants tonight, Miss Sheridan Beck and Mr. Wesley Scott. Put the clapping hands emojis in the chat room. I don't know what you got to do, but cheer them on. Also, we are sponsored by Trinity Kids tonight. Shout out. Jason Brown, you're amazing. And Kyle McNaughton, y'all are both amazing. Hey, what's your name? Where are you from?
Wesley Scott, Jacksonville, Florida.
Shout out Duval County. What's your name? Where are you from?
Sheridan Beck, Jacksonville, Florida.
Shout out Duval County. All right, so the point of the game, it's a cup stack game. You are going to stack the cups all the way high, and then all the way, and then you're going to collapse them back into this stack and try to do it in less than a minute. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. So it goes rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and on shoot, you...
One time?
Yep, one time. Here we go. Ready, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Hey. All right, Wesley, would you like to go first, or would you like to? Okay, you're going to see how Sheridan does. All right, Sheridan. I'm going to give you a little hint. You start out with a base of 7, and then you work your way up. Yes, you can. All right. Are we ready? Do we have the countdown? Whenever the clock, it's going to go 3, 2, 1, and then you go. Make sense? Yes. All right. Sheridan, the floor is yours. Here we go. Let's go with the countdown. All right, here we go.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
All right, remain calm. Remain calm. Don't rush yourself. If you rush yourself, you're going to mess up. Remain calm. Are you calm? I'm calm for you. It's okay. How do you think she's doing?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm nervous with you. It's okay. Hey, she's doing a great job so far. Sheridan, you are 20 seconds in. It's okay. Wait, we can recover. You got 35 seconds left. Take your time. She's doing pretty good. I think she's going to finish in time. Her hands are a little shaky. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, I'll help you out. You get one help. Yeah. Time! 9 seconds to spare. 9 seconds to spare. Congrats. How do you think you did?
Yeah, but I finished in time. So.
That is true. That all that matters. All right, Wesley. You have to finish with at least 9 seconds to spare. All right? Are you ready for this?
I think I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, when the music begins, you begin. Here we go. Listen to the lady.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Go. Oh, you doubled up on one. It's all right. Hey, there's a difference between fast and quick. You doubled up on one of the cups. I'm gonna help you out. It's this one over here. You're shaking, don't shake. All right, you're going with the 1-by-1 technique. Sheridan went with like the group technique. But hey, we're all different. All right, Wesley, 30 seconds left. Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. Hey, I can do all things. Oh, I'll help you out. This is your one help. All right, Wesley, you got 50 seconds left. All right, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk me through what happened.
I didn't embrace the moment.
You did not. That's one thing about sports. If you're a sports fan or you play sports, sports is just all about stepping into a moment and owning it.
That's right.
Sheridan, you did that. Congratulations, Sheridan. You have a pizza of your choice coming your way tonight, so congratulations. I know, big deal. Hey, yeah, there you go. Game Respect Game. Thank you guys so much for playing. And again, shout out to Trinity Kids for sponsoring tonight's game. Moving on in tonight's Vive worship experience, we have our panel coming out now, led by the man, the myth, the legends, Pastor Joel Milligan and Pastor Vaughn Brown from Hammond and Oakleaf. And joining them tonight is Miss Christine Dees from Hammond and Mr. Kieran Philpott from Oakleaf. Y'all give it up for them. They're going to have a panel tonight. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned.
But before Pastor Trey leaves, come on over. Hey, everyone, you probably saw this today on social media. This guy right here turned 25 today. Happy birthday.
Halfway to 50.
There you go. That's right. So we appreciate, yes. We're thankful for him, how he leads the Hammond campus. Trey, we got you a little something here.
Oh, wow, you shouldn't have.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Little
You're
Caesars
welcome.
gift card. I appreciate
Maybe.
it.
I should have said the Connections Plaza.
Yes. Yes.
So give Pastor Trey a shout out there in the comments. Tell him happy birthday. We do appreciate him. Well, like he said, we've got an awesome panel tonight, and it's been fun talking to our leaders, to our student pastors. But tonight, we have been blessed to have a group of students with us. So Trey already introduced them, but this is Kieran from out at Oakleaf and then Christine from Hammond. They both are seniors, well, graduated seniors. Mm-hmm. So they got plenty of wisdom to share with us tonight. And then, of course, we've got Pastor Vaughn from Oakleaf, who always brings his A game to our summer Vive. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. Have you ever seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yes. Love that movie.
No.
You've not
Okay.
seen Back to the Future?
Christine is the only one who hasn't seen
Wow.
Back to the Future. Incredible movie. Marty McFly, Doc Brown. They're going back in time to kind of fix all the things that went wrong, and they go to the future to fix all the things that went wrong. Well, wouldn't it be cool if we could actually do that?
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to answer some of those questions tonight. And if you got a question in the chat, feel free to post it. We'll be watching, and we may choose some of your questions. So here's the first one. This is a big one. We'll start with you, Christine. Okay? If you could go back in time and talk to your 7th grade self many years ago, what would you tell your 7th grade self?
Honestly, I would probably tell myself, don't play powder puff football your senior year of high school.
If most of you don't know, poor Christine, powder puff football in her senior year, blew out her ACL. She couldn't do cross country, couldn't do track, but she's in almost full recovery mode now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm doing good.
All right. So that's actually a great choice, but you got something else. What else?
I'd probably go back and tell myself to not feel as scared, because going into middle school and going into high school can be very socially, you can get very anxious and scared, and you can, comparing yourself to everybody else, wondering what everyone else is thinking about you. I'd probably tell myself that it doesn't matter, because in reality, I got finished with high school and I was like, wow, it's over. It's all over. And now I have the whole rest of my life. And so I feel like I would tell myself it's not as big as a deal as you think it is, and to not be as scared as you are. So that's a piece of advice I definitely tell myself.
Awesome, great. Kieran, what you got?
I would definitely say, just stay out of the drama and kind of just keep your mouth shut. Because, it was, just unnecessary drama happened, and then you would jump into it, or I would jump into it, and then I would get pulled in, and then once those consequences happened for that drama, I would have to feel them too when it was just unnecessary, so.
Well, you know what? I felt that. You know what I'm saying? Kieran said that as if he had some real time, that just happened kind of drama that he needed to shake off. But listen, in light of that, what would you go back and tell yourself about a lesson that you would have easily learned, or something that you would have avoided if you would have just listened to the advice that mom or dad or somebody had given you?
I would say not more like, it is a lesson. Just to like put yourself out there. If you see something that you want to do, don't be scared and be shy just to like go and like not do it, because you'll regret it in the end. And yeah.
What about you?
I would probably say the same thing of don't be scared to kind of go out there and stand out, you know, amongst everybody else. You know, you can be bold, you can be loud, be out there. And that's the whole thing of, you know, don't be scared, because it's not going to last forever. You have your whole life after that, so why not take a chance now and do it now? So.
All right, so here's the real deal. This is the moment of truth, right? So those are all, you know, I've graduated, I'm so, you know, smart and wise and all that stuff like that. But let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the thing that got you on the one punishment that you just are still stewing over, and you can't believe that mom and dad actually went through with it. What's that one opportunity?
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Or?
I'm trying
Karen
to think
seems like
to go
he's
first.
queued up and ready to go.
Something that I've really grown on actually is like I used to be a really bad like liar and manipulator. So like I still feel those repercussions, like because I don't always have full trust 24/7. So like that's just something that's like ingrained in me, like just to not be like that anymore. So yeah, it's just something that my parents have stuck with, like you need to tell me like this, this, and this. If you're going out, you need to tell me who you're with, where you're going, and what you're doing, and just, yeah.
So why is that important now, Karen?
Because like I just want people's trust, and yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Christine?
good.
I would probably say procrastination, because I'm a big procrastinator. My parents always told me, you know, you should really do this tonight instead of the night before it's due, or you should really focus on it now and not when it's a big problem, and I would never listen. And so then I would face problems and I'd get stressed and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then if I would have listened and if I would have done it ahead of time, then I wouldn't have faced the problem itself. So that's definitely something that I ran into a lot.
All right, so Pastor Vaughn, we're going to put you on the spot tonight.
I was going to put you on the spot, but go
I
ahead.
beat you to it. So obviously we heard what they shared, and they're 18 and 17. So you, my friend, being 25 like Trey, in a few more years.
Yeah, something like that.
What's something that you would go back and tell your 7th grade self, if you could?
Man, I'm trying to remember the 7th grade. If I could go back and talk to my 7th grade, so my 7th grade self, I was really probably heavily involved in, no, I'm just joking. If you guys thought I was going to divulge something really, really incriminating. No, back when I was in my middle school years, I can really remember stepping into a world that was unfamiliar to me, and to not monopolize the time. But when I was a kid, like elementary age, I actually had the responsibility of taking care of my siblings. So my life kind of worked its way a little backwards. When I was supposed to be maturing, I was actually being a kid because I had to be really mature, really, really young. And so what I would tell my 7th grade self is, you know what? God loves you, and he does have a plan for your life. I was struggling with identity, and that kind of stemmed from a sense of abandonment, you know, so I didn't know where I belonged or who wanted me and all that stuff like that. And I got to a place in the 7th grade where I had stable environments and all that stuff like that to kind of live in, and I was really just kind of letting it loose, getting in trouble all of the time. So I tell my 7th grade self, God's got a plan for your life. Don't do it. What about you, Pastor Joe?
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. So for me, actually, if you all have been plugging into our YouVersion reading plans over the past couple of weeks, for me, as I was reading the devotional for this morning, it talked about how when you take driver's ed, there is, you know, the brake and gas pedal for the driver, but then there's also a brake on the passenger side. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that. if you took driver's ed. Why is that? Well, so the instructor could put the brakes on if you made a bad move or whatever. And it's talking about how in James 4 it says we submit ourselves to God and resist the devil and he will flee. But submission's really all about trust. So what I would tell my 7th grade self is, I think through middle school and high school, I was the one sitting in the passenger seat, stepping on the brake pedal whenever God was trying to take me somewhere. I'd be like, oh, no, God, we're not going to go there.
Yeah.
And so my trust in him was only if I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
So I would tell my 7th grade self to get out of the passenger seat, get somewhere where you can't step on the brake pedal and just trust where God is taking you. And I think I would have avoided a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
In middle school and in high school.
Yeah, I really want to insert this right now because I think it's really important to know. Obviously, the idea of going back and fixing things, is cool and fun, but it's not our reality. And it's really important. Paul gives us kind of some real good instruction. We got to forget those things which are behind and reach forth until those things that are in front. And so there's no need to be down on yourself or try to drag into your future, mistakes of the past. Just trust God with where you are, and put yourself in a position to kind of move forward. I have a funny, because I saw somebody ask this question.
I see it in the chat right now.
So I want to know from each of you, but we're going to start with you, Bishop Joel.
With me? Okay.
All right. So if you can go back in time, and I know you're going to come up with some obscure person that nobody knows, probably.
Wait, is this in the chat or are you coming up with
This is in the chat, I promise. If you can go back in time, what singer would you want to meet?
What singer?
Singer, S-I-N-G-E-R.
Okay,
singer.
if I could go back in time, what singer would I like to meet? Wow, what a question.
I'm trying to remember who asked that.
Okay, so this is just straight off the top of my head. Back in the day, some of the music I used to listen to was like some good stuff that I just enjoyed during the time. This is going to shock all of you, all right? But I used to listen to some old school jams. My boy Luther Vandross.
Come
Luther
on,
Vandross? I mean, he had some awesome jams back in. Sing it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Luther Vandross. I used to love his jams. So
Come
there you
on.
go. Shout out to you, Luther.
Luther.
All right.
Luther's responsible for a lot of. Never mind.
All right. So what you got there, Kieran?
I would have to say I'm an old soul, so I would say like Michael Jackson or Prince or like New Edition, Belle Biv DeVoe. Like it's a whole list of people I would just want to go and meet. Yeah.
All right, Christine.
Named a few fan favorites there.
Am I allowed to say a band? Does
Sure,
a band
yeah.
count? Okay. I would love to go and meet One Direction when they were still One Direction. That if I could go back to when they were a band and go to their concert, that would be my dream. Just
All right, Pastor Vaughn, who you got?
Man, if I had to go back, when I saw that initially, I said, who would I really want to go meet? It probably, my mind immediately said Whitney Houston, only because, like Bodyguard is one of my favorite movies, and the best Star Spangled Banner rendition I've ever heard in life was Whitney Houston.
Well, we got another one from here in the chat, just a quick one here. They want to know if, this is probably from a middle schooler, is high school just like High School Musical? Is high school just like High School Musical? Hot take real quick, Christine?
no. It's fun. It is fun because high school's fun, being with your friends, football games, prom, being at the lunch table. It's really fun, but it's definitely not running down the hallway, singing, School is so easy, but it's fun, like they show in the movie, but it's definitely not 100% like High School Musical.
Karen, what you got?
I mean, it's not, but like, it can be. Like, if you make it fun, it can be. But just don't go running down the hall singing because you're going to get like some kind of side-eye look for some people. But yeah, high school is fun, but it's not High School Musical at all.
All right, so let's bring it back when it comes to best advice. And we've been talking about that a little bit. We know that God brings people into our life to speak truths into our life all throughout middle school and high school. And I'm sure you've received a lot of really good advice, and all four of us can take this one, okay? So best advice that you have received, something someone has shared with you that stuck with you, and it's something that you're going to continue to live out as you move on to college and wherever God is calling you. So Karen, why don't you jump on this one first?
This one kind of goes back to what I said earlier about putting yourself out there. Kind of just be yourself and don't change yourself for anyone, because like nobody is that important to where you can't be yourself and it makes yourself unhappy.
Great. Christine?
I would probably say the best advice I was ever given was probably from my dad. And he said, you know, when you commit to something and when you tell somebody you're going to do it, you have to do it. You have to follow through. And when you do it, you have to do it with your whole heart. Don't half do it, or don't do it with only half your heart. When you commit to something, you got to do it. And I feel like that's definitely something that has encouraged me when I, maybe don't feel like doing something, or, I don't want to do something. So that's definitely a piece of advice I can take with me to college and also in life.
Yeah, I asked my dad when I was getting ready to marry my wife. I said, Dad, I'm getting ready to ask Angie to marry me. You've been married. You know what it takes. You know what I have invested in me. Tell me one piece of advice that I need that I'm not going to find in a magazine or a book or hear in a sermon. He said, son, the best piece of advice I can give you is sometimes you have to say I'm sorry when you've not done anything wrong. And for me, that's transcended my marriage into other relationships, just a posture of trusting God for who's right and who's wrong and submitting myself to whatever his plan is, even in that situation. So,
yeah, I think for me, I always flash back, and maybe you've heard me say this before because it just sticks in my mind all the time. When I was in high school, one of my teachers every day before class would write a saying on the board. And if you're watching, Miss Schaefer, thank you for this. I didn't realize how much it meant to me. But it was the saying, live by principle and not by feeling. And in high school, I just kind of read it, and I just thought, oh, that's a cool saying. But now that I'm 40 years old, I realize how truthful that saying was.
Yeah.
That all throughout my middle school and high school years, there's going to be a lot of things that if I let my feelings control me, I'm probably going to make a lot of unwise choices, because sometimes you don't always feel like doing what's right, or you may not feel like obeying your parents, or you may not feel like doing your homework, and feelings just fluctuate all the time. That if I daily live by the principle of God's word, that never changes.
yeah.
And I can lean on that for strength and not allow the roller coaster of my feelings to make decisions for me.
So we've had a lot of experiences, right? And there's a lot of different things you probably can share from different times in your life. How do you plan to take some of what you've learned into this next season of life? You guys are transitioning from being super dependent on mom and dad to a whole lot more independence. What are you taking with you?
I would. Can I send that
Yeah,
one
I
back?
can go. I feel like a big lesson I learned this year was, when God is speaking to you, follow it. And you want to follow it right away. You don't want to sit on it and question it or be like, maybe he wasn't talking to me, or, I really don't want to do that. And another quote, that I really like is, your walk with God you should not be comfortable all the time. You should be uncomfortable, because that's when you're growing. And so, with deciding to leave for college, I was like, oh, that's so uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. There's so many risks and possibilities that could go wrong. But then, I realized if that's what God wants to do with my life, I have to follow it. I want to follow it. And so that's definitely something going into college is, if he answered the prayers I was praying to him and he followed through on that promise of, giving me what I wanted out of college and high school, then he's going to do it again. He's going to give it to me again. And even if I may not see it at first or see the reasoning behind things, I know there's always a reason. And so since I've seen him follow through, I know he's always going to follow through again. And that's just something I'll remember going into life and going into college.
So what I'm taking with me is, like, when you're a child, you see the world as a different place as you do as an adult. And now that like I'm growing and I've seen the different sides of the world and how fun the world can be, but also how cruel the world can be, I'm just gonna remember to like be careful and still like I said before, it keeps going back to that for me, just to be myself and just take risks.
So let's lean into that. Pastor Joel, I definitely want to hear yours, but both of you both came out of a very sheltered, if you will, Christian environment. You know, Kieran, you are going to pretty much stay in that track where, Christine, you're actually moving into more of a secular environment.
For sure.
How do you, that may be easy to ascertain if you're, you know, in the context that you've been used to. For you, completely different. For you, the dynamics are different. How do you see, in light of the way the world is changing, how do you see that working for you?
Well, it was definitely a fear of mine when I, chose to go to such a different college and such a different space. That was a fear of mine of, well, I've never been there before, what's it gonna be like? How am I gonna react? How am I gonna live with that? How am I gonna, keep building my relationship with God and living the way He wants me to live while I'm living in a place that doesn't really do that as much. And so that's definitely something I'm scared of, but it's definitely, once again, God has followed through on so many things in life before that, I shouldn't be worried about it. And even though I will get worried at sometimes, it's just good to remind myself of, God can do it, He'll always do it, and He'll keep doing it no matter what. And so that's definitely a good promise I try to remind myself of, especially going into college in such a different environment.
Yeah. What about you, Karen?
I would say like, okay, I'm actually, what was it? Can you repeat the question?
So, Christine, you both came out of the academy, obviously very structured Christian environment. You're going into a very similar environment, but you're still going to be, kind of around and exposed to things that are not necessarily Christian. How are you going to carry that over with you?
Just keep faith and remember that no matter what Johnny's doing, I need to remember that that's not right. If he's doing something that's not right, I need to remember that that's not right. If I notice that Johnny's not reading his Bible and praying and doing what he has to do to show his representation of God, that I can still continue and do what I need to do.
I think that's good. Well, let's close with this. I want to keep an eye on our time, just so you all can share just a little bit here as we end. And real quick in the chat, I did notice Lauren Warren actually had a comment in here. The best advice that she ever received is that boys are gross. So
thanks, Lauren.
Pastor Trey, she commented below and said, obviously she loves Trey and she married a man. And she thinks that he is awesome. So she wasn't talking about Trey. She was saying boys are gross. So just remember that, girls in middle school and high school, boys are gross. But let's close with this. Vaughn did reference it a little bit, but why don't you two just let everyone know what is your next step and what step are you taking and what you are studying. So Christine, we'll start with you.
I am actually going to Florida State University in Tallahassee.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
I'm majoring in family and child sciences, which it's okay if you don't know what it is. I didn't know what it was at first, but that's okay. So yes, I'm going to be living in the dorms, which will be a very interesting experience, to say the least. But, like we talked about, it's kind of a daily reminder to tell yourself, this is what God says, this is what the Bible says, continue to follow that and continue to live your life by that. So.
All right, Karen, what you got?
I will be at TBC for at least 4 years.
Go Eagles.
And
what is TBC? Just some people may not
Trinity
know.
Baptist College.
Awesome.
So I will be studying youth ministry and minoring in pastoral counseling. And yeah.
Awesome. So you can take Pastor Bond's job when you graduate. Is that the
I
plan?
am handing the keys over.
Well, hey, in the live chat right now, if you would give just a round of applause for our panel, our students. We appreciate them joining us, y'all. Thank you so much. Thought it was really good to hear from you and hear what God is teaching you. So, big announcement.
Really big.
Big announcement. The
It's
thing you've been
huge.
waiting for as we wrap up Summer
big.
Vive for the month of June. Here's the big announcement. Everybody, next Wednesday night, we will be meeting in person for summer hangouts. That is right. Summer Hangouts will be starting next Wednesday. Now, obviously, I know it's been crazy with COVID and trying to keep some distance and a lot of things that are happening, but we are going to be pursuing a in-person gathering starting next Wednesday at 6:30, and we're going to follow all guidelines. We're going to keep distance. It's going to be outside, so we're going to take all the precautions to keep all of you teenagers safe, but we want you to come. So Hammond, 6:30, we're meeting right here at 800 Hammond Boulevard. We've got kickball. We are playing basketball. Got a lot of stuff happening over there at the band field. If you know where that is, 6:30, bring your A game. And then, Pastor Vaughn, why don't you let them know what Oakleaf's doing?
So for Oakleaf, guess what we're doing? We're doing an Easter egg hunt. No, I'm teasing. Oakleaf, we are going to meet at Brewster's on next Wednesday. So looking forward to it. Little ice cream, little conversation, little fellowship. Probably a little Oakleaf Town Center scavenger hunt. It's going to be fun.
So it's going to be an exciting time as we get back together. So be looking for that 6:30 next Wednesday, and our goal is to do in-person gatherings all through the month of July.
That's right.
A lot of cool stuff planned, and obviously we know that can change as regulations and guidelines change, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But right now, we are hoping for the best, and we're going to kick it off next Wednesday at 6:30.
Yeah.
All right? Sound good. Thank you all for joining us. Hey, everyone, thanks for watching. And this is the final Summer Vive of June. It's been an awesome ride.
It's been an awesome ride. We will see you in person next week.
6:30.
6:30.
See y'all.
Let's do it.